March 29th, 2022. Engineers at the Ronin Network stared at their screens in disbelief. More than $600 million in cryptocurrency had disappeared. Not over several weeks, not over several days, but in what felt like the blink of an eye. There was no dramatic bank robbery, no masked criminals, no getaway vehicles speeding into the night. The only evidence was a trail of digital transactions racing across the blockchain. By the time anyone realized what had happened, the money was already gone. At first, investigators didn't know who was responsible, but as cybersecurity experts followed the stolen funds, a familiar pattern began to emerge. It was the same pattern they had seen before, the same techniques, the same infrastructure, the same digital fingerprints. Once again, the investigation pointed toward a hacking group known as the Lazarus Group, a cybercrime organization that U.S. authorities and multiple cybersecurity firms have linked to North Korea. By then, this wasn't just another hack, it was another chapter in a campaign that had already stolen billions of dollars from companies around the world. But here's what makes the story so fascinating. North Korea isn't known for billion-dollar technology companies. It isn't known for Silicon Valley startups or global financial institutions. In fact, it's one of the most isolated countries on Earth. So, how did it become one of the world's most dangerous cyberpowers? The answer begins decades before cryptocurrency even existed. For years, North Korea faced severe economic sanctions. Those sanctions restricted trade, limited access to international banking, and made it increasingly difficult for the country to earn foreign currency. Traditional sources of revenue became harder to rely on. But while many nations invested heavily in expanding their economies, North Korea invested in something different: people. Specifically, young students with extraordinary talent in mathematics, computer science, and programming. According to defectors and intelligence assessments, the country's brightest students were identified early. Some were sent to specialized schools. Others received advanced technical training for careers in cyber operations. Their mission wasn't simply to defend computer networks. It was to learn how to penetrate them. Instead of preparing soldiers to fight on a battlefield, North Korea was preparing hackers to fight in cyberspace. And unlike traditional warfare, cyber attacks don't require tanks, fighter jets, or aircraft carriers. One skilled hacker, sitting behind a computer, can cause millions of dollars in damage from thousands of miles away. That realization changed everything. Throughout the 2000s, North Korea quietly expanded its cyber capabilities. At first, many of its operations focused on espionage, stealing information, gathering intelligence, monitoring foreign governments. But eventually, the mission evolved. The goal was no longer just information, it was money, lots of it. And no industry offered a bigger opportunity than cryptocurrency. Unlike traditional banks, cryptocurrency transactions happen almost instantly. They're global, they're decentralized, and once stolen funds begin moving across hundreds of digital wallets, recovering them becomes incredibly difficult. To experienced hackers, it wasn't just another financial system, it was the perfect target. But breaking into billion-dollar cryptocurrency companies isn't easy. These companies spend millions protecting their systems. They hire some of the world's best cybersecurity experts. So how did North Korean hackers keep getting in? Surprisingly, they rarely started by attacking the company's computers. They started by attacking its people. North Korean hackers rarely force their way into a company. Instead, they convince someone to open the door for them. A software engineer receives a message on LinkedIn. The profile looks legitimate. The recruiter claims to represent a well-known cryptocurrency company. The salary is impressive. The opportunity seems too good to ignore. After a few conversations, the recruiter sends what appears to be a job assessment. Sometimes it's a PDF. Sometimes it's a coding challenge. Sometimes it's a software update that the applicant is asked to install, but hidden inside, it's malware. The moment it's opened, the hackers gain their first foothold. The employee has no idea anything is wrong. Days pass, sometimes weeks. Meanwhile, the attackers quietly explore the company's network. They identify who has access to critical systems. They study security procedures. They watch how transactions are approved. They wait. Because timing is everything. The longer they remain undetected, the greater their chances of success. This strategy became one of the Lazarus Group's trademarks. Instead of rushing, they moved carefully. Every click, every login, every permission brought them one step closer to the company's digital vault. Then came the Ronin Network. Ronin was built to support Axie Infinity, one of the most popular blockchain games in the world. Millions of players used the network to buy, sell, and transfer digital assets. To process transactions quickly, Ronin relied on a small group of validator nodes. If attackers could control enough of those validators, they could approve fraudulent transactions as if they were legitimate. According to investigators, that's exactly what happened. After infiltrating the network, the attackers gained control of the required validator signatures. On March 23, 2022, they authorized two massive withdrawals. One transferred 173,600 Ether. The other transferred 25.5 million USDC. Together, the stolen assets were worth more than $600 million, and no one noticed. Nearly a week passed before a user tried to withdraw funds, and the transaction failed. Only then did engineers realize the money was gone. By that point, the attackers had already begun moving the cryptocurrency through hundreds of wallets. The FBI later attributed the theft to the Lazarus Group. But Ronin wasn't an isolated case. It was part of a much larger campaign. North Korean hackers had learned that cryptocurrency companies moved enormous amounts of money, often faster than traditional financial institutions. That speed created opportunity. Every successful attack funded the next one. Every stolen wallet revealed new techniques, and every security weakness became another lesson. The hackers weren't simply stealing cryptocurrency. They were building experience, refining their methods, and becoming more dangerous with every operation. But stealing the money was only half the challenge. The real challenge was making billions of dollars disappear without leaving a trail, and that's exactly what they learned to do next. Stealing hundreds of millions of dollars is one thing. Keeping it is something else. The moment cryptocurrency is stolen, every transaction is permanently recorded on the blockchain. That means investigators can watch the money move in real time. North Korean hackers know this, so they move fast. Instead of keeping the stolen cryptocurrency in one wallet, they split it into hundreds, sometimes thousands. Each wallet sends funds to another, then another, then another. What starts as one transaction quickly becomes a maze. Next, some of the funds pass through cryptocurrency mixers. These services combine coins from many users, then redistribute them, making it far more difficult to connect the final destination to the original theft. The trail doesn't disappear. It just becomes much harder to follow. From there, the money is often converted into different cryptocurrencies. Some assets are swapped across multiple blockchains. Others are moved through decentralized finance platforms. Every step adds another layer of complexity. Meanwhile, blockchain investigators are racing against the clock. Companies specializing in blockchain analysis monitor suspicious wallets around the clock. If they identify stolen funds before they're cashed out, they alert cryptocurrency exchanges. Sometimes, Those exchanges freeze the assets. Sometimes they're already gone. It's a constant game of cat and mouse. As investigators improve their tracking techniques, the hackers adapt. New wallets, new methods, new ways to move money. The cycle repeats. According to the United Nations and multiple governments, North Korea has used cyber theft as a way to generate revenue, despite years of international sanctions. Investigators believe some of those stolen funds have supported state priorities, including weapons and missile programs. That's why these attacks aren't treated as ordinary financial crimes. They're considered a national security issue. Today, every major cryptocurrency company assumes it's a potential target. Employees undergo phishing training. Critical wallets are protected by multiple layers of security. Transactions involving large amounts require additional approvals. Companies even hire ethical hackers, people paid to break into their systems before criminals can. Yet, the threat hasn't disappeared, because the biggest weakness isn't always the software. It's the human being sitting behind the screen. One convincing message, one fake job interview, one malicious file. That's all it can take. North Korea changed the rules of cybercrime. It proved that a nation under heavy sanctions could project power across the world without deploying a single soldier. No tanks, no fighter jets, no missiles. Just skilled hackers, patient planning, and a laptop connected to the internet. The next billion-dollar cryptocurrency heist may not begin with sophisticated malware. It may begin with a simple message. Hi, I came across your profile and I think you'd be a great fit for this role. And somewhere, someone will click.